there's things that are happening that are naturally strange, and then there's things that are happening to where they're kind of pushing this and kind of pushing the collective culture and the collective consciousness to think in a certain direction. So now if it's, if I'm thinking, well, if they're coming out with all this UFO stuff, and I definitely don't trust anything that's coming out from our government or the media, and this is the sources that all this information is coming from. I mean, it's fascinating, but of course I'm not going to trust it. But why, and where is it going, and what's going to happen? Like you said, something fantastical may happen. Is this going to be like a staged fake alien invasion thing? I mean, I've heard that so much over the years from different conspiracy theorists and people. Or could it be something else? Are they going to roll out some toys that they just been itching to roll out for their Space Force? Could be any of those things. It's going to be a very fascinating time to pay attention to this stuff.
Probably both. I mean, we're going to see there's this stringing along. That's one of the most important things. And this is what comes with experience. Like when you've been following these storylines for like a while, and you see like the buildup, of like, oh, something's coming. All the signs are there. This is going to happen. And then it doesn't happen. And you see this over and over again. You're like, okay. You're beginning to recognize that's a modus operandi. And there's always that voice in your back of your mind. Is like, but is this the one? Is this the time?
It's like a constant
buildup. Who knows what's going to happen? But that's it. Like the biggest thing which I'm seeing is like, this is stringing along, but it is, I think, if I did not see all of the things in my own personal life, which have just been weird, then I would be like, well, this is just like, smoke and mirrors. But I think it's mostly smoke and mirrors because there is something which is changing. We are changing, whatever that may be. The environment which we're experiencing life in is changing. And that is where I really want to go with my awareness and my attention in the coming months. And then also being very, very as grounded as I can. And this has been something which has been different in the last 6 months as well, has been recognizing like fundamental lenses in which I see reality. And these are seemingly like not big deal sort of things. But I think that, that they're really big. And this is part of the way of becoming free of the consciousness which has been put in all of us. Even those of us who are like, no, I know the media's bullshit, and I know the government's bullshit, and I know that's bullshit, and I know Target's bullshit, and I know Amazon's bullshit. But still, like, we are ingrained in the system we're born into. So like, I've been doing a lot of stuff like reconstructing calendars, like getting away from that, looking at the natural world in a very, very different way. And so that's where I'm hoping to really connect and be part of when this change, which we're experiencing, begins to or continues on its trajectory.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And I want to get into some of the changes that you're noticing collectively around, not only with people, but like you said, in your environment and stuff. But one of the things that's hard to kind of get a peg on is where people are standing right now collectively when it comes to their view of shenanigans. Basically is their view of, is this BS or is this not? Are we being played or are we not? They have this new thing in the media that I heard the other day called mask culture, where people don't want to stop wearing masks. It's a new thing because it's cool. I don't know how real that is. Are there a sect of people that want to keep wearing masks? Sure, I'm sure there are, but is it as big and, trendy as the media wants us to think it is? I'm wondering collectively how many people are still on board with the nonsense and how many people are just kind of evolving and kind of doing their own free thinking and being sovereign individuals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I'm always gauging the population just by looking around at what percent of people I see wearing masks, and particularly those who wear it while driving. And so, that's my own kind of like soft analysis. But I tend to agree with you that that's the real definition of a meme. Like if you go back to seeing where like meme was first introduced into like the lexicon, what a meme means, a mind virus. And so a mind virus is basically an idea which then spreads. And so that's what when you see in the media, particularly everything is so segmented and demographic, like they know exactly who they're getting to. And you release this story and you put this idea in people's minds, like, hey, it's you know, it's cool to do this, to wear the mask. And then at the same time you get like, you know, you see all of the studies that say that you should still be scared, like, you know. I think they're creating it. Like undoubtedly, maybe some people I think like wearing a mask. I think that's probably a really small percentage of people, but that whole thing to make it trendy, yeah, that's made up. That's not real. That's Edward Bernays propaganda 101. But it works. You know, you'll go and see some people, but then you go like I live in Pennsylvania, and this has been the case from the whole time. Was there are three counties which I'm kind of nearby. Like, so I live in Lancaster County, and then there's York County on the other side of the Susquehanna, and then like above that is Cumberland County, or I'll say Lebanon County too. So these four counties. And what I've noticed is that and this is probably true for most areas, like counties have a certain flavor. Like, you know, this is the way this county is, and this is the way this county is. And the mask wearing is totally in alignment on those lines. Like, you know, Lancaster tends to be a little bit more uptight, a little bit more like, you know, things are orderly and people are all wearing their mask much more. And Lancaster like takes itself very seriously. And then you go to York County, and York County is like, I think their tagline is like historically edgy, which is mean like from as long as you could remember, this is where like any shit goes. And so you drive into York, it's like any shit goes. And like people are like, you know, they've got like a mask on their phone, but they don't have it on their face. And they're like, I don't give a fuck, you know, that's York County. And maybe some people are wearing it. And then you go into like maybe a little bit more rural areas, like in Lebanon or Cumberland. And it's like, people are like, no, I'm not going to wear a mask because it's no one's right to tell me I'm going to wear a mask. And I'm just not, you know, and it's that. And I think that's where those kind of like, if we want to look at things in the most basic level, like we can look at these demographics in terms of like who's going to be listening to it. You know, and it shouldn't be any surprise. Like it's the same part of the population which is under the spell of everything else which is in the storyline. Like you know, it fits so much with, you know, I don't want to be general because it's not, there's individuals, but like this kind of like social justice warrior, progressive sort of that, like that's where it's most embraced. Like that's where it's cool to have the wear the mask and you know, the pandemic hasn't gone away and that sort of stuff. And I got a lot of friends who are in that community, or like people who I know like before things got ugly. And so I don't find it my job to want to go and question someone else's story, because there's a reason someone holds on to a story. They have to let it go themselves. So like, that's why I'm a little bit like, you know, I tiptoe around it, but the other people, for whatever reason, they're for not subscribing, like, you know, they're not going to buy into that. And I think that's going to gather more and more steam is like, they're probably not going to put their mask on at all again.